I'm here with Mark Rapaport, writer and director of Hippo. Um, this movie was nuts. Start off with that, and then I went and checked your IMDb and saw that you starred in and produced one of my favorite movies of that year, Scare of 61st.
Oh,
And then once I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Uh, uh,
yes, thank you.
what
I think
I guess that's where we'll start. Where what kind of leads your mind into these crazy sort of areas in filmmaking? Because I gotta say I'm a fan.
yeah, no, it's funny. I think I'm also realizing that about myself as I go and the projects I choose to be involved with and write and direct. I think that I don't know, from a young age, I wasn't like a class clown, but I definitely love to get a rise out of people and provoke and sort of, but in a way that's like funny and weird. I think I was always just sort of drawn to that, as a with regards to making art. As a person and a friend, I'm very kind and unprovocative. But I think that there's a place in art and writing and performance that, yeah, for me, I love when things just go, for lack of a better term, go for it or go there. Because why not? Like, it's kind of like life's too short. And for me as well, it'll make even more sense when I started my creative journey doing stand up. I was not successful at it, but I must have gone on stage 50 times. And I think that that also taught me, you know, what kind of things rile people up. And so I wanted to bring that same kind of energy to things that I do. Um,
Seem to be
yeah.
describing kind of like what actors do. Is like um I like playing the bad guy because it unlocks a part of yourself that you're not allowed to release, or that if you did, you'd probably be in prison.
Yes, that's a really good way of thinking about it. I do think this is a form of catharsis. I definitely feel that word catharsis a lot with my work. And yes, like you said, you can't live out these ideas or fantasies in these types of movies in real life. Yeah, you'd be in prison. Um, but by making them into art, it helps me confront that and unravel it, and then I can kind of put it away. Like I don't have to think about that part of my childhood anymore. You could just go watch Hippo.
There you go. And you co-wrote this with the star Kimball Farley. What was the writing process like on this? Where you guys just like trade ideas and like, oh, that's disgusting, put it in, or like,
Oh yeah,
like how does the because I get how writing as one person goes, but like when you write with a
yeah.
partner or someone else, like what's that sort of process like?
Yeah, for sure. I think that writing together for Hippo was it was a very valuable component to making it what it was, because what I was able to do and what I've learned that I like to do is write with the lead, or one or all of the actors sort of giving feedback live. Um, I think that there's if you don't write with a collaborator, or in this case one of the actors, your feedback loop is just longer. Oh, here, Kimball, check out these scenes. And then then you revise based on their ideas. So in my mind, it's like I'm gonna show it. I knew he was gonna be Hippo, so why not write it with Hippo? Like we can have that live feedback. And yes, it helps that we have very similar senses of humor, I think, and similar interests. If he was just reading the lines and we didn't have similar interests, that would also work. But the fact that I have three brothers and he's like another fourth brother to me in our senses of humor. It's like when you have those friends who just like you can just talk for 20 hours because you appreciate the same stuff. So yeah, for me that's kind of how that went. We did it over Zoom. So we had a document open so we he could see. I was mostly typing, but he would see, and he would come in, and when I'm stuck, he'd write, or if I was stuck on something for his character, we kind of improvise. Um, and yeah, it was just really enjoyable. And we've written several scripts like that now already.
Yeah. And so what got Hippo rolling to begin with? Because this seems like it would be a tough movie to uh and unless you did like a Kickstarter or something, this doesn't seem like a movie you'd hand a script over to someone. They go, "Yep, this is the one." Um, but like,
Yeah,
what got this off the ground, basically?
Yeah, so you're totally right. If I had tried to send this to studios or agents, they would have, and my manager at the time did read it and think I was a little nuts and don't know what's ever gonna make this. And I was like, I'm gonna make it. We're gonna do it without their permission. And so that was definitely a built-in approach from the start is let's make this for as much funds as we can wrangle ourselves because I had already done the sort of try to make the bigger movie several times and I'm I'm always kind of trying to do that, but if you just rely on that, you'll miss making something. And so for this one, what really put it over the edge um, is my mother. My mother took out a COVID loan and got a great interest rate. Like, at the time, the interest rates during COVID were lower, and we were able to fund the film on a modest loan from my mother and shot in my grandmother's house and got great local crew from New York and Pittsburgh and a lot of favors, a lot of discounts during COVID. Um, but yeah, it was definitely a self-push thing. It was one of those movies where you just had to believe in yourself. The team had to believe in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, let's talk about your cinematographer because this movie is crazy and hesitate to use the word, but deplorable as it is. It looks beautiful. Like hats off to your cinematographer. Just pretty much the filmmaking all around is fantastic. But where did you find this guy?
Yeah, so Will Tracy Babcock, I met him on Pledge. We did one of the movies I produced called Pledge before the Scare of 61st Street. He shot that and similar budget, similar vibe, make the movie you can make, and love that movie. And it's one of the great things about it as well is it was freaking beautiful. For an indie, everyone was like, this movie, was we're not even close to $1 million budget. We're closer to zero than we are, to give you an idea, a couple 100,000 area. And it's like, and I was like, yeah, I remarked that as well. I loved the way Pledge looked. So I knew I wanted to work with Will if I ever directed anything. And then we started talking on my short film Andronicus, and then eventually uh, we teamed up again on this. And we sort of joked around because he was shooting black and white film photography at the time, and there were beautiful images, and it was just like, yeah, would you ever shoot something on black and white? And he was like, I'd love to shoot a movie on black and white. And it kind of felt like a guilty pleasure to even think about that, because it's like it seems like you're being non-commercial, like you're just kind of like doing it for yourself, but at the same time, it really fit the world of Hippo to be in black and white. And there aren't enough black and white modern movies. Um, I don't think. I think if you do black and white well, it can be super beautiful. And yeah, with Will, we just collaborated on that and decided that we should definitely need to do black and white. And one of the reasons as well for the story was to help sort of dampen the absurdity. Um, as you say, the deplorable elements. So we found that that balance was actually really effective, where if we made the film in black and white, those elements wouldn't seem as absurd and ridiculous. You would more feel like I don't know what to feel. I just feel uncomfortable because this weird shit is happening in a black and white world. So it's like I don't know. Is this a nightmare? Is this a comedy? Is this like? And so that was something that was like a thing that we were hoping would work, and I think it did. Um, but uh, but yeah, Will's just has a phenomenal eye, and we're both like super OCD, and so that we make a good team.
Nice. And I see you got a movie called Cornucopia coming up. Anything you can say about that? Is that going to be as crazy? Am I going to love it as much as I do this?
So yeah, Cornucopia is another one I wrote with Kimball um, as the son of a cult leader, and that one is
Nice.
going to be batshit crazy, and I am very excited for that. That is that's sort of the bigger North Star that we're aspiring to. But in the meantime, before we shoot that, we're actually going to shoot another movie that isn't listed yet called Godhead, one word, Godhead, like the Holy Trinity, and that's going to be a black and white Hitchcockian thriller comedy or tragic comedy type thing, similar to Hippo. A little more serious, but similar vibes. And so that's one that no one really yeah, no one's really written about that one yet, but that we're hoping to shoot in January, um, while we try to raise money for cornucopia. But both are going to be batshit crazy. I think that that's just I can't help myself. I have a problem. Please help me.
I can't help you because your movies are too good. So if
Okay, thank you. Well, I'll keep putting it there.
I'm afraid they might start sucking if I help you. So
Thank you. Okay, deal. Well, as long as someone watches them, it's worth it. It's expensive therapy. But by the way, not even that expensive if you make them on budgets of Hippo.
well, there you go.
There you go.
So I guess we'll just end with this. Let's get a couple. Actually, kind of want to get a couple of movies that you might want to recommend. These would be movies that are like lesser seen. That's like that one's really good and no one talks about it.
Hmm. Um, let me think a recent one. Um, I mean, I just watched La Haine, the French black and white movie. Cinephiles talk about it,
Yeah.
but it's definitely lesser known among mainstream audiences. It's beautiful. The cinematography in that is black and white. Was just done so well. Um, I also recently saw a movie for Godhead Research, another black and white movie called I Am Cuba. I was just looking up the name. It's in takes place in Cuba, sort of during that revolutionary era, and um the cinematography is just insane. It's like all shot on super wide angle black and white film and infrared. There's like scenes on infrared black and white where you see these sugarcane fields where the whole field looks like white. So those I think are, again, if you're diehard cinephiles who watch every movie might know those, but they're definitely weirder, um, foreign stuff. I've been trying to watch more foreign stuff in preparation for the next film for the next black and white film because I think some of the best cinematography comes from foreign films.
Yeah. Oh well, I would definitely agree with that. But Mark, thanks for joining me today. Hippo will be in select theaters November 8th. I would recommend anyone listening to this bring a friend or two and say, "Oh yeah, I heard this is just a pleasant indie drama," and then just watch them side eye you as the movie continues to progress. But
I love it. I love it.
Mark,
Please.
I
What you
I
said.
I can't stress enough. I absolutely love this movie. This will probably be on my top of the year. And congratulations
Oh
and
my
thanks for
God.
joining me today.
Thank you, Eric. That really means so much, and it brings me so much joy that people can finally start to watch it. So thank you. Thank you for checking it out.